In this lesson, we're going to go over what dichotomous keys are and how you can classify organisms using them, and also how to make a dichotomous key. So dichotomous keys are used to classify organisms based off of their observable traits. So, do they have fur or do they not have fur, and so on. They contain a series of pairs of contrasting descriptions or statements with two choices, sometimes answerable by yes or no, or some other easily identifiable choice. Upon selecting the right description, the classifier will be led to another pair of descriptors, and it will continue on until the users correctly identify their organism. So there's some rules to follow for making a dichotomous key. They will always have one less question than the organisms being classified. If you have more than that, you've not created a proper dichotomous key. The names at the end will be given two parts, with the first part, the genus, being capitalized, and the second part, the species, having a lowercase letters. If you're typing the name, you use italics, and if you have to write it by hand, you underline the name. So there are two different types of dichotomous keys. The first one at the right is called the linearly arranged dichotomous key. So it's just a whole bunch of statements, and then it leads you to another point. So if we look at these aliens, if I pick, say I want to classify this green one. So I found this in the wild, and I'm going to try to figure out what animal this is, or alien. So I look at it, I read the first question. Is the mouth open? If it is, go to number 2, and yes, it is open. So then, does it have arms? No. So it doesn't, so then it is the Alienus quadrilegis. Then, if I was trying to classify this one, is the mouth open? This time the answer is no, so I go to number 4. And does it have horns? No. So then I go to number 5. Does it have legs? It also does not, so it's Alienus blobicus. And then you would do that for the rest of them. And as you can see, there are 6 aliens and only 5 questions. So this has fulfilled the criteria for making a dichotomous key. The other type of dichotomous key is the one that most people prefer, what most students I've had have preferred to use. It's more a tree diagram. So this one, if you look a little bit more closely, it's like, are whatever formed in blah, blah, blah. Yes, you go to one side. No, you go to the other. And then it keeps leading you further and further. So we're going to try making one of these with minions. So we're going to make a dichotomous key with some minions here. So we have 8 minions. That means that we should have 7 classifying questions. We're not going to go through all of them, but we'll go through enough for you to understand how you do this. So the first one, so we have 8 minions. Does it have 2 eyes? Yes or no? So then we've grouped all of these ones. They all have 2 eyes, so they're the yes. Over here are the no's. The next question we can ask is it tall? Yes or no? So these 2 are taller, so that's good. The ones over here are no. That's going to lead us to more questions. Over on the right-hand side, is the minion blinking? Yes or no? So then we've classified them again. Then we go a little bit further. For the ones that were not tall, is the minion clasping its hands? And if the answer is yes, it's a minionus classipus. If it wasn't clasping its hands, it's a minionus grinius. So we made up names. So you would then continue to classify the remaining ones to get their answers. So these ones you would classify and so on. And then you could double check to make sure that you had the right number of questions. So there was the original question, 1. Then there's 2, 3. There would need to be 1 here, 4, 5, 6, 7 different questions to classify your 8 minions. So we've met the criteria. And that's how you do a dichotomous key.